Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me. My name is Dennis Brown, and this is my weekly Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. Today, I'm going to share with you some critical freight broker startup tips that you absolutely need in 2024 and beyond. So that's what we're going to cover today. Got lots of notes to go over. And as a matter of fact, if you stick around, I'm going to let you download this free cheat sheet. Okay. This is a cheat sheet of everything we're going to go over today in the live. And so here's the agenda. All right. First, let me welcome everybody on replay. If you're catching this on replay, hit me up with hashtag replay. If you are joining me live, hit me up in the comments. Let me know the city and state you're logging in from. I'll try to do some shout outs before we start the training. But here's the agenda. We're going to do some quick shout outs. Then we're going to do the live training. We may or may not do a free giveaway. I'm not quite sure. Freightpreneur, someone who solves problems you don't know you have in ways you don't understand. This is the t-shirt. I've given hundreds of these away. Maybe I'll give away a free t-shirt if we have time. If not, then we'll just go right into live Q&A. So if you have questions about freight broker startup or freight broker sales or anything to do with becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, all you got to do, hang around to the end. You'll be able to ask me those questions, type them into the chat box at the appropriate time, and I will do my absolute best to get to as many questions as I can today. And again, if you stick around to the end, you will get access to this cheat sheet, which is the critical freight broker startup advice for 2024. All right, so stick around here. Let's do some quick shout outs. We have Carl Gillis from Bethlehem, Georgia, Betty Jones from Raleigh, North Carolina, Cynthia from Maryland, Anthony from Hazleton, PA. Who else we got? Where are you guys from? I'm in the Buffalo, New York area. Clarence, to be more specific, a little suburb outside of Buffalo, born and bred in Western New York, been here my whole life, good, bad, or indifferent. And so I'd love to hear where you guys are from. Maybe you're not too far away. Maybe you're in another country. We have people that join us from Europe and Africa and Asia and everywhere. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Canada. You know, we usually have at least 2 or 3 different continents in these lives. Corey from Billings, Montana. That kind of seems like a different continent, and sometimes, right, Billing? Right, Corey? All right, cool. So we got a bunch of people live. We're going to give it about another 30 seconds or so. And again, if you stick around to the end, you will get access to this free cheat sheet. All right, if you stick around to the end of the training, and we will be doing live Q&A at the very end. So if you hang around, we'll try to get all your questions answered. Eclectic Rose from Colorado. Maish Hubbard from Denver. Corey, you know that Montana is on my bucket list. I've never been to Montana. Now, I'm a hunter, and I do a lot of hunting and fishing. So my trip, if I get out there, when I get out there, I should say, I'm going to plan a really nice hunting, fishing trip and probably be out there for at least a week or 10 days. So that is something that's been in the back of my mind for a long time, and I definitely need to take time to schedule it because I'm not getting any younger. Unfortunately, none of us are. So again, thank you guys all for joining me. All right, so let me grab a quick drink, and then we're going to get this show on the road. Ray Case from Pasadena, California. Zoran from Macedonia. There you go. All right. Sometimes we have people from Colombia or Mexico or the UK or Europe, all over the place. So thank you, everybody, no matter where you're at. Okay. So Avi, ask those questions at the end when we do live Q&A. Okay. So when I open up Q&A, feel free to ask those questions. I will do my absolute best to try to answer those questions. If I don't have the answer, I'll try to point you in the right direction. Okay. All right, cool. So here we go. Today, I want to share with you some critical freight broker startup tips for 2024 and beyond. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to run through these really quick. Here is the cheat sheet. If you stick around to the end, you will get a link to download the free cheat sheet, but you got to stick around to the end. There's a lot of great tips on here, but I can promise you that number 7 on this list is by far the most important. So you want to stick around to the end. Please don't miss that. You'll be missing the boat for sure. All right. So number 1 on the list is find your niche. Now, if you followed me for any amount of time, you've heard me harp on this topic. As a startup, it's very important that you niche down. Riches are in niches. You need to niche down. So it's very important that you understand the concepts of how to niche down. Tell you a quick story when I first started. When I first started as a freight broker back in 2003, we had developed a niche, which was Northeast outbound van freight. So if it originated in New York or PA or New Jersey, all the way through up through New England, and it was loading on a van, a full truckload, like a 53-foot van, then that was our niche. We were focusing in on product that could go in a van and was leaving the Northeast. Either it was going west or south. That was our niche. We were fortunate. We did over $1 million in sales our first year. Then we did 3.6 million. Then we did 6 million. Then we did 12 million. Then we did 18 million. And eventually, by the time I sold the company, we were doing over $80 million a year in sales. And we had expanded into a lot of niches, but it was critical that we started with a niche, okay? Trying to serve everybody, trying to be everything to everybody, trying to boil the ocean is a very difficult task, okay? So you need to find your niche, and I've got an actual link here where you guys can check out a free training. Just go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/niche. Okay. If you go to that, it's going to bring you to a page with a detailed training and breakdown of exactly how you can identify your niche, including a video and even a free download. Okay. So check that out. That's number one on the list. Find your niche. All right. Number two, keep your expenses down. Okay. Don't go out and spend money on the most fancy CRM or the most fancy TMS or the fanciest and most expensive tracking system. Keep your expenses low. All right. You've got to control your cash flow. Understand that every dollar that you spend, right, is like oxygen to your business. So you have to be frugal, right? Keep your expenses very low. You don't need the absolute utmost of technology when you first start. Get started with what you have, get started with what you can afford. And then as you start generating cash flow, you can reinvest some of that cash flow into your business. You can invest it into updating that technology. You can invest it into better technology and better systems, better websites, better everything. But start by controlling your finances, right? Keep expenses down. Very, very important. Okay. Number 3 on the list. Start building your online presence. Now, what do I mean by that? There are 2 very important places where I need you as a freight broker startup to focus. One is your website. You absolutely, positively have to have a website. Now, that website doesn't have to be a $5,000 website, okay? That website you could get started for probably a few $100s, okay? But the reality is you have to understand is that you have to have a website so that Google can index you. And why do you want that? Not because people are going to be searching for your company and it's going to lead to tons of leads, but what's going to happen is when you start doing outbound sales outreach and sales efforts and having conversations with prospects and emailing prospects and connecting with people on LinkedIn, what's going to happen is they're going to go to Google and they're going to search for you and your company name. And if you don't exist on Google, it's like you don't exist in the universe. And therefore, it's going to send off a huge red flag. And unfortunately, that's probably going to stand in your way with doing business with not only shippers, but also carriers. Okay. So number 1 is your website. You got to have a basic website. You don't need to break the bank, but it's got to be a decent website. All right. That's part 1. Part 2, you have to set up a free LinkedIn account. You don't need to have Sales Navigator. You don't need to have any of these paid subscriptions. Set up a free LinkedIn account. LinkedIn is the world's largest professional networking site, right? It's what I call it has tons of opportunities. It's a high quality lead source. There's tons of shippers that you can find, connect, and engage with. So LinkedIn is a very important component of building your online presence because they're going to search 2 places. First, they're going to search Google. Second, they're going to search LinkedIn. And if you and your company don't exist, again, it's going to throw off a huge red flag. Okay. So that's number 2, start building your online presence. On LinkedIn, you'll set up your profile, then you'll start building your network, and then you're going to start posting relevant content. relevant content to your niche, probably 2 or 3 or maybe 5 times a week. And that's going to start positioning your brand, positioning you as an expert in your niche. And that's an important step in building your online presence. Okay. So that's number 3. Number 4 on the list, focus on HVA versus LVA. Now, what does HVA stand for? What does LVA stand for? Well, let's start with LVA. LVA is low value activities. Now, you can imagine what HVA is, right? High value activities. As a startup, you have to critically prioritize your time and focus on high value activities versus low value activities. What are some low value activities? Well, surfing YouTube, surfing Instagram, surfing TikTok, surfing Google, right? Spending all of this time surfing online, right? Those are typically low value activities because they're not directly attributed to driving revenue, building relationships, and growing your business. High value activities examples are learning how to sell, investing in a mentorship, investing in training, learning how to sell, right? Learning the fundamentals of how to set up your freight brokerage. So learning a little bit about how to get your business up and running and getting customers. Number 2, prospecting. Again, learning how to prospect, learning how to get shippers, learning how to get your prospects' attention, how to cold call, how to cold email, how to get shippers with LinkedIn, things of that nature, right? So those are high value activities. And another one would be sourcing carriers, right? Sourcing carrier partners that are actually going to be hauling the freight for you. So those are examples of low value versus high value activities. All right. So that's number 4. Number 5, focus on relationships over transactions. If you know anything about me, that is a mantra that I've been saying for many, many, many years. Why? Because unfortunately, most freight brokers and freight agents are very transactional. What do I mean by that? It all comes down when they're dealing with their shippers and their carriers. It's all, what have you done for me lately? If they're talking to a shipper, hey, do you got any loads to move? Hey, if you're talking to a carrier, hey, do you have any trucks in my area? It's very transactional. It's not relationship driven, and people can see through it, right? If you live by transactions, you'll die by transactions. If you focus on relationships, they will survive any good or bad transaction, but you got to focus on relationships. If you do that, it will differentiate you from the crowd because, again, the entire industry is very transactional. Now, there are some good brokers out there. Don't get me wrong. There's some good agents out there, but they're in the minority as it relates to this strategy, relationships over transactions. All right. So that's number 5. Number 6, leverage your existing connections. All right. So as a brand new freight broker, brand new agent, you're in startup mode. Maybe you haven't even started yet. Maybe you've just started in the last 6 months. Here's one of the things that you need to do. You need to tap into your network, your existing network. So if you're a truck driver, for example, let's not forget about all the shippers that you've picked up from, all the places you've delivered to, all the people you've met on the docks, all the carriers you worked with, all of the different people in that industry that you've connected with, that that you've built some trust with. Let's not forget about those people. Those people can be critically important to helping you get not only your shippers, but carriers that will actually allow you to move your freight. So don't forget your existing network. You have to tap into that existing network, okay? And the second part is for non-drivers, you need to tap into your network as well. Let me tell you a quick story. You may or may not have heard this story. When I first started as a freight broker, I had no experience in logistics or trucking or transportation. And I was never a driver, obviously. But what happened was I had a close friend that I had known for years who I had talked about that I had started this logistics company. And I had asked him if he knew anybody in logistics or shipping. And he happened to be good friends with a guy who was a vice president in a recycling company. He ended up providing the introduction. And that introduction led to over $100,000 in sales our first year. And I probably over $1 million in actual sales that was generated over the lifetime of that customer, as well as other customers that vice president had relationships with. So it turned out to be a very fruitful relationship. And it all started by telling my friend that I was starting a logistics company and asking if he knew somebody. Again, he had no control over the freight. He had no experience in trucking or logistics. He didn't even know what it was all about, but he did know that he had a good buddy that was in the recycling industry. He provided the introduction and off we went. Okay, so that's another example, right? So that's number 6, leveraging your existing connections. And number 7, the bonus tip, okay, and the tip you really need to hang on tight for, and the one that is probably going to pay the biggest dividends for you in the long term, because I know it did for me, is you need to find a mentor. Okay, find a mentor. When I first got started in business, I had lots of mentors in sales and entrepreneurship. I had lots of mentors when I started my freight brokerage. I even hired a guy who had 20 plus years of experience as a broker, paid over $10,000, flew him in for a week to kind of poke holes in my business plan and let me pick his brain. And along the way, I've had many, many mentors. And I've been blessed since then to become a mentor for many, many people. I've had over 10,000 students go through my Freight Broker Bootcamp program. Been blessed to do that. Many of them have went on to build 6 and 7 figures. And the reason why I say find a mentor is because obviously you're going to have questions along the way. You're going to have struggles along the way. You're going to have issues along the way. It's one of the primary reasons why I do these Freight Broker Bootcamp lives every Monday for free. So here's the thing, but the key to finding a mentor is this: you need to find a mentor who's already done what you're looking to do. So if you're looking to build a 7-figure freight brokerage, find a mentor who's already done it. If you're looking to build an 8-figure freight brokerage, find a mentor who's already done it. If you're looking to become an expert in sales and how to get shippers, find a mentor who's already done it, right? So the reality is, no matter what you do, if you find a mentor, it's going to compress time and it's going to increase the odds of your success as long as they've already done what you're looking to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Listen, if you guys want the cheat sheet, here's all you got to do. Go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/startup tips. Okay. freightbrokerbootcamp.com/startup tips. That will give you the free cheat sheet. This is the download that I just went through with you guys. You can get not only the list of things, but you'll get links to different resources, links to different trainings, and it'll obviously be extremely valuable because you didn't have to write all these things down. So appreciate you guys being here. Listen, if you're curious about becoming a freight broker, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Again, we've trained over 10,000 students, had that program since 2009. And we offer a 60-day, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee. So download the free cheat sheet. And if you're interested, get signed up for freightbrokerbootcamp.com. You get instant access to the entire program. And again, we offer a 60-day, 100% money-back guarantee. Appreciate you guys being here. Make sure that you hit me up next week on the next Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. All right, cool. So if you guys want to stick around, we're going to do some live Q&A, but hold on because we're not going to do the Q&A yet. All right. I'm going to actually type this in the chat box so that you guys can make sure you get it. This is the cheat sheet. Okay. So who was able to get access to the training? All right. Or were you able to get access to the cheat sheet? All you got to do is go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/startup tips. Was everybody able to click through on that link? Let me know in the comments. Just wanted to make sure that you guys got that. Hold your questions, Anthony. Hold your questions. Anthony, I should say. Let me know if you guys were able to get through to that cheat sheet. And listen, I think what we're going to do, hit me up in the comments. Let me know you guys can reach that. I know that I tested it. Okay, cool. All right. So you guys are able to get access. Perfect. Thank you, Amber. Appreciate it. All right. So I think I'm going to do now again, this is the link. Okay, cool. Cynthia downloaded. Awesome. All right, good. You guys got access. Perfect. Let's do this. All right. Who wants to do a free giveaway? One t-shirt, the Freightpreneur t-shirt, says someone who solves problems you don't know you have in ways you can't understand. Who would like me to give away a free t-shirt? Okay, hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you guys want me to give away a free t-shirt. If you don't, then that's not a problem either. We'll just jump into Q&A. But if you guys do, I'll take a couple minutes. We'll do a free giveaway. And then from there, we'll jump into the live Q&A. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you guys want me to do a free giveaway, free t-shirt giveaway, freepreneur t-shirt. I get random emails all the time. People asking me, hey, where can I buy the t-shirt? Hey, where can I get the shirt? Hey, will you give away another shirt? I haven't done it in a while because I think you guys got a little burned out from the Freightpreneur t-shirt giveaway. I was doing it almost every week for a while. So, all right. So we got some people that would like it. All right. So here's all you got to do to play along. If you're serious and you want the t-shirt, I'm going to give away one t-shirt and you have to be in the United States. Unfortunately, I'm not going to ship it overseas. It's just not worth it. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. Pull out your cell phone, pull out your Android or your Apple. I use Apple, whatever you want. If you're on Apple, pull up the Apple Podcast app. It's a free app. It's pre-installed in your phone already. And then search for Freight Broker Bootcamp. All you got to do, it's a purple app. You go in there, you search for Freight Broker Bootcamp, and then you're going to see my bald, shiny head and that logo. Okay. And all you need to do is rate, review, and subscribe. That's it. Rate, review, and subscribe. Give me a quick rating, a quick review, and then subscribe. All you got to do is click follow or subscribe, and then come back into the comments and let me know that you rate, reviewed, and subscribed on Apple. Now, you can also do that on Spotify. All right. So those are the two platforms primarily where people are going to listen to my podcast. I'd say 90+%. You can do the exact same thing on Spotify, rate, review, subscribe. So come back in here and let me know that you rate. You got to type this out in order to qualify for the free giveaway. Here's what you got to do. In the comments, you have to type out rate, reviewed, subscribed on Apple, rate, reviewed, subscribed on Spotify. One of those two. If you do one of those two things, okay, rate and review and subscribe on either one of those, I will enter you to win the free t-shirt. I'm going to be giving it away in about 2 minutes. You got about a minute or so to do that. We're going to give this away, and then we're going to go into live Q&A, okay? So again, this is the Freightpreneur t-shirt, someone who solves problems you don't know you have in ways you can't understand, all right? I'll gladly send that out to you if you're the winner. But Amber, you got to let everybody know. Rate, reviewed, subscribed, okay? It can't just be, hey, I'm on Spotify, right? You got to let me know, rate, reviewed, subscribed on Spotify, rate, reviewed, subscribed on Apple. It's important to me, number one, that you follow instructions, and number two, that I know where it's coming from, because that's part of the reason for me doing this. I want to know where you're listening to my podcast. I want to know what podcast you use. I'm gathering sales intelligence about you and about my market to try to better understand and serve them. So you understand what I'm doing there, right? There's a method to my madness, not just giving away a $30 shirt. All right. So, all right. Rate, reviewed, subscribed. All right. So we got a few people that's done it. Jamal, make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. Amber, make sure. Andrew, make sure. That's okay, Amber. Andrew, who doesn't love a free t-shirt? All right, so I'm going to give about 1 more minute. All right, so we got a few more people that have entered the contest, the giveaway. And again, I'm going to give away one shirt, and then we're going to go into the live Q&A. So we'll give it about 30 more seconds. Hold tight, and then we'll start diving into your questions. Mish Hubbard, hold your questions. I won't answer your questions until after the giveaway. Okay. So you're going to have to end up retyping that question. So everybody hold your questions until the giveaway is done. And then I'll tell you when to type your questions in. You got to understand, I'm streaming this on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So while you might not see a lot of comments on LinkedIn or one or the other, I'm getting a whole bunch of those comments. And so what's happening is your questions are getting buried. Okay. And I won't even know where they are by the time I start doing the giveaway. All right, cool. So we got a bunch of people. Let's do the quick giveaway. You got 10 more seconds to rate, review, and subscribe. And we'll go from there. All right, cool. So I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to scroll through the people that have participated, and I'm going to pick one winner. And the winner is Amber. Amber's the winner. Rate, reviewed, subscribed on Spotify. Well done. Well done, Amber. Now listen up. Here's all you got to do. On LinkedIn, I'm assuming we're connected. If we're not, shoot me a connection request. And then what I want you to do is I want you to send me your full name, your mailing address, and your size, small, medium, large, extra large. It's unisex sizing. This is a large, okay? So your full name, your address, and your size. And what I'll do is I'll get that shipped off to you. You'll get it within a couple of weeks. So connect with me on LinkedIn. Just search for Dennis Brown or Ask Dennis Brown or whatever, you'll find me. I'm not hard to find. And then I'll ship that off to you. And congratulations. Thank you, everybody, for playing along. I appreciate it. I don't do these giveaways that much anymore. I used to, but hopefully we'll bring them back if you guys are still really interested. Yeah, Amber, you won. Congratulations. So you are the winner of the Freightpreneur t-shirt, someone who solves problems you don't know you have in ways you can't understand. Awesome. All right, cool. So let's jump into live Q&A. Who has questions for me? All right. Who has questions for me? Hit me up in the comments with any questions. Here's what I know for sure. I will not get to everybody's question today. I can never get to everybody's questions because there's always just more questions than there is time. So hit me with your questions. I'll do my absolute best to try to answer them. If I don't have the answers, I'll try to point you in the right direction. All right, Patrick Rose. I have a client that wants a client portal that they can log in and request quotes and track loads. They do not want to request quotes through email. Any suggested software that can do this? It's a really good question. We had our own, let me grab I'm going to jot this down. Let me grab my pen really quick. Sorry, hold on one second. Oh, apparently I don't have my pen here. I must have dropped it. All right. So, Patrick, off the top of my head, I'm a big fan of Ascend TMS, but I would have to check if you guys want to sign up for a free Ascend TMS platform. You can go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/TMS, but I don't know if Ascend offers that feature. So I'm going to have to get back to you. And try to give you an answer. I know you're asking this on YouTube, so I'll try to get back to you. I'm not positive what software that I can recommend that has that type of feature. So it's a good question, and I'll try to do my best to point you in the right direction. My suggestion would be Ascend TMS, which is that link that I just shared with you, freightbrokerbootcamp.com/TMS. You won't have to have a credit card. You won't have to have, and plus you'll get a bonus, a nice bonus that they offer if you use the coupon code FBBC, because we are partners, right? We've partnered with them years ago. We've had hundreds and hundreds of our students that have went over there and used that platform now, and I've had nothing but rave reviews. So sorry I can't give you a more detailed answer, but I will try to find out that answer for you and get back to you. Thanks, Patrick. All right, Maish Hubbard asks, hello, Dennis. I actually started my brokerage last year. However, I didn't put any footwork into making the business successful till this year. I did invest in your lifetime access plan and Freight Broker Bootcamp. I now have a company website and completely registered through the FMCSA. How do I find shipper email addresses? Okay, cool. So there's a couple ways that you can find shipper email addresses. There's a lot of software out there that will give you access to email addresses. Now, some of them are free, but most of them are not. I'm going to point you to the one that I think will probably give you the most data for free. And then if you choose to pay, then you can go from there. But you can go to Apollo, right? So Apollo is a data source like that where you can search any niche and get access to shippers. You get access to the actual logistics managers, transportation managers, traffic managers. And a lot of that data is free. So just go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/free leads. They have some sort of special offer on the back end there. And if you sign up, you don't need a credit card. Okay. So you can sign up for free and you can have this service and you get limited access to a bunch of data, and you can always upgrade if you want more data and pay for it. So it's the source that I would go to today if I were looking for freight broker leads. Okay. If I were looking for shipper leads. Okay. So I hope that helps. Good question, Maish. I'm assuming it's Maish. I'm not sure. All right. Who else has questions? Hit me up. Let's do it. Let's talk. All right, what do you guys got? I will be shocked if there's no more questions, but I'm all with it. If you guys don't have any questions, I will absolutely find one of the 11 different things on my to-do list to start on. And I'm sure you guys have a long list too. Yeah, that would be the place that I would go. Who else has questions? Freight broker startup, freight broker sales, lead generation, whatever. TMP hustle. I just set up LinkedIn Sales Navigator service to help with finding new customers. Do you have any tips on how to approach new customers prior to reaching out via phone? Yes, I absolutely do. Good question. So here's what you do. If you search LinkedIn for a specific company or a specific prospect, it's going to be probably pretty easy to find the shipping manager, logistics manager, transportation manager, warehouse manager. It's going to be fairly easy to find them, okay? But then before you reach out to them by phone, I like your strategy, which is connecting with them on LinkedIn. Here's the easiest way to do it. Once you find them on LinkedIn using the search feature, what you're going to do is you're going to gather some sales intelligence from their profile, because you can see their full profile, and then gather some sales intelligence from their company business profile that they work for or they own. And then you're going to maybe go to the company website, gather some information there, and you're going to create what I call a compelling sales hook. Okay. Now, you're not going to be salesy. You're not going to beat them over the head like a baby seal with your club. I mean, I know that's graphic, but that's what I think of when people try to hurry and lead with their pitch. So you're going to gather some sales intelligence, and then you're going to do a custom outreach message. So you're going to click connect, but then you're going to add a custom message. And that custom message is going to be short. It's going to be not pitchy, not salesy. And the only objective of that message is to simply get them to accept your connection request. Because what's going to happen when they receive that, the first they're going to do is read the message. And the second thing they're going to do is click on your profile. So another important part of this is you have to optimize your LinkedIn profile to ensure that you're making a good first impression. That profile should be specifically designed and laid out for your target market. So if you're a broker that focuses on flatbed and the steel industry, that's everything that your profile should say. If you focus on produce, that's everything your profile should say. You should focus on speaking directly to that target market, so you have the best opportunity to make good first impression, which will increase the likelihood that they will accept your connection request. Okay. So once they accept your connection request, you now have a direct pipeline. You can message them whenever you want, but I would caution you, please be careful. Don't then turn your head around and start beating them over the head with your pitch. Don't ask them for a meeting. Don't ask them for, a bid package. Don't ask them for if they have any lanes. Slow things down. Remember, one of the tips I talked about today was relationships over transactions. Focus on that relationship. Focus on that rapport. Focus on them, right? What's important to them, not what's important to you, but what's in it for them, okay? So those are a few tips. I hope it helps. Good question. Thanks. Mish. Okay, Mish, I got it. Perfect. Thank you for the clarification. Mish. I can murder a name just as well as anybody, I promise. All right, who else has questions? Those are three good questions, one of which I didn't have the answer to, which is pretty rare, but I will try to get that for you, Patrick. Any other questions for today? If not, we will sign off. And remember, you guys can get access to, let's see, what's it say? You should do a 2024 version of how to connect with the customer via LinkedIn and LinkedIn Navigator. I thought it'd be helpful. Okay, good. Maybe I'll do a future training on that. Good question. Thank you. L. Callaway, how many messages should I send before I sell a pitch? Okay, so how many messages should I send? Okay, so L. Callaway, I'm assuming you're talking about LinkedIn or probably email or either or. So if you're talking about LinkedIn, I think LinkedIn needs to be a little bit slower than email. Email can be a little bit more direct, but I like to have a multi-touch point outreach strategy. That's what I teach in my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program, where not only do you use LinkedIn and email, but you also use the phone and possibly face-to-face and maybe even direct mail, depending upon the prospect and what you're trying to do there. So I think if it's LinkedIn, you're going to slow things down. I think you'll know if they're engaging back and forth with you and you're starting to get a little bit of engagement and you've built a little bit of rapport. I would say, 3 or 4 or 5 messages back and forth, and then you can pivot. You can pivot into into asking for maybe a call or the permission to give them a call or whatever the case may be. But again, take it slow. Remember, this is not Tinder, right? We're not speed dating. This is LinkedIn. This is a professional network. What they are looking for when they accept your connection request, they're looking for you to fall into the sales category of everybody else so that they can give you the triggered response of we're not interested. So if you start beating them over the head with your pitch too soon, that's what you're going to get. So slow on LinkedIn. On email, again, it kind of depends upon the dialogue. I think that you can set up an email cadence. I think you're going to have more response getting people to respond to you on LinkedIn in many cases than you will via email for a variety of reasons, including the fact that a lot of your emails are going to get filtered out by corporate spam filters. But I think that you need to slow things down, take your time, don't get in a rush. And then the key is you want to leverage that into a phone call. So whether you schedule a call or whether you make a call after that, it's no longer a cold call. It's what I call a warm call, because they've already looked at your profile. They've already accepted you as a LinkedIn connection. You've had a short dialogue. So why wouldn't you be able to reach out to them, right? So I hope that helps. Perfect. Okay, cool. All right. Hey, listen, if you guys don't have any other questions, here's the link to the free cheat sheet, freightbrokerbootcamp.com/startup tips. You can download that for free. Again, download that. You'll get instant access to that. It'll be emailed to you, including a bunch of extras, right? Some links to different trainings that you might not know about. Actually, one of them has a preferred vendor list for Freight Broker Bootcamp where you can go in and save money on different software. And then obviously, if you guys are looking for help with how to get shippers, okay? With how to get shippers, pay attention. Look at the link on the screen right now. If you're struggling with getting shippers, if you're struggling with learning the fundamentals of how to sell your freight brokerage service, okay? Check out my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program. That is my Freight Broker Sales Coaching program, where I take that piece of my brain. I teach you everything about freight brokers, my favorite freight broker sales strategies, tactics, tools, but most importantly, my entire system that allowed me to do over $200 million as a freight broker. But again, more importantly, has allowed many of my students to go out and get shippers in their niches. Some of them have built 6- and 7-figure plus businesses. So I strongly suggest you guys check that out. You can get on the wait list at freightbrokerbootcamp.com/waitlist. It's absolutely free to join the wait list. There's specific details on there about the program. And if you're serious, you can even schedule a call if there's openings. If there are openings in the program right now. It's typically sold out, but occasionally some seats will open up. So get on that wait list. You'll be the first to get notified when spots open up. And I do appreciate, again, we've had over 1,000 students go through that program. I've revamped the entire program based upon feedback that I've gotten from those 1,000 students. And it's amazing. I think we've been running that new program for about 5 weeks now, and the feedback has been amazing. I'm excited, and I hope you guys get on the wait list, and maybe we'll get a chance to work together. Again, that's a coaching program where I mentor and coach you on exactly the steps you need to take in order to start getting your first 5 or 10 shippers and generating your first 7-figure in sales. So let's see if there was any final questions. I think that's it. Listen, have an awesome day. Make sure you get on the wait list, and make sure you show up next week. Set a reminder on your phone. And if you guys were part of if you checked out that podcast and you rate, reviewed, subscribe, make sure you check it out. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of free trainings on that podcast, audio trainings. Listen to it when you're on your treadmill working out. Listen to it when you're in your car, which is my favorite place. And I'd love to get your feedback on that. Make sure you show up next week for another Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. Thank you for being here. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you next week.